It's inevitable. The end is near. It might be zombies, it might be aliens, it might be clowns, or it might be blobs. Who knows? It might be alien zombie clown blobs. Whatever it is, it's going to be the end of the world as we know it. Today's movies look at the end of the world and how we try to keep society going. This is ML Miller Frights, Best in Horror Countdown 2024 through 25. Let's look at number 18. At number 18, PARVULOS, Children of the Apocalypse, also known as Parents. It was released on April 2nd, 2025, and is available on demand from Amazon Prime from Firebook Entertainment. It's directed by Isaac Ezban and written by Isaac Ezban and Ricardo Aguado-Fentanes. A trio of children, Mateo Ortega Casillas, Farid Escalante Correa, and Leonardo Cervantes, make their way across a post-apocalyptic world, defending their home from outsiders desperate to scavenge from their supplies. In the basement, they hide a dark secret. The filmmaking genius that is Isaac Ezban is not a household name, but in a true and right world, he'd be as on the tip of your tongue as Guillermo del Toro, Paco Plaza, and Alex de la Iglesia. Ezban was the twisted mind behind The Similars, a modern-day Twilight Zone epic that should not be missed by anyone who loves horror and suspense. He was also responsible for The Incident, which is another epic idea taken to horrifying levels. If you haven't seen either of these two films, I'm jealous because you get to experience these modern masterpieces for the first time. With PARVULOS, Esteban dives headfirst into apocalyptic horror, but of course makes the movie unique and riveting. I don't want to reveal any more of the plot of PARVULOS, as there are a few juicy twists that occur in the narrative of the film. But the best way to describe PARVULOS is that it's a zombie apocalypse through an Amblin lens. These three kids are put through the emotional ringer for most of the film, yet Ezban manages to inject so much heart and soul into their journey. Kids in Peril tales were all the rage a while back, cashing in on the nostalgia craze, but while those films did a good job aping the look of Goonies, The Explorers, and E.T., many failed to capture the soul. PARVULOS recognizes that in times of hardship, kids are affected too, but also they retain that childlike hope that often fades with age. That childlike hope, above all odds, is what PARVULOS is all about. How far would you go to save a loved one? Would you give up all of your belongings? Would you scour the earth to help them? Would you kill for them? That's what PARVULOS is about. At its core, represented by these three children walking the heavily forested wasteland to find some way to survive. Ezban is able to capture that incorruptible hope of a child and offers up a compelling story around it. You'll feel for these children. You'll laugh and cry and grow angry with them. This is a film that will move even the stoniest of hearts. The child actors are fantastic here. I've often said kid actors are usually a tough sell for me, as it feels like lines are being fed to them off screen because they just don't have the emotional experience to back up their performances. These three made me believe that their struggle was real and feel deeply about them to have their most unattainable dreams to come true. But PARVULOS is not all doom and gloom. This is a film that is quite often laugh-out-loud funny and heartwarming as the kids try to go on with traditions like birthdays and Christmas despite their horrible situation. The film stands as a testament to the unbreakable power of a child's imagination and determined to have what was taken away from them. I laughed, I cried, I puked a little in my mouth from the gory grossness that occurs in PARVULOS. This definitely isn't a movie for kids as it deals with some pretty adult themes. But man, it delivers an emotionally devastating story with characters you can't help but root for. Here's another film about the end of the world and the monsters that cause it. Worth noting is AZRAEL. It almost made the countdown, but missed it by inches. It was released on October 25th, 2024, and is streaming on Shudder from IFC Films. It's directed by E.L. Katz and written by Simon Barrett. From the director of Cheap Thrills and the writer of You're Next and The Guest comes AZRAEL, a story set in a post-apocalyptic future after the biblical rapture. Those left behind seem to have either become religious zealots or barbaric nomads, living simply in a commune in the middle of the woods that is also populated by wandering demons. The group has taken a vow of silence, and its women are all pregnant, hoping to bear the new Antichrist. One woman, played by Samara Weaving, escapes the community and must evade capture from the zealots and the demons alike. That's one hell of a synopsis, and AZRAEL is one hell of a movie. Much is supposed to be taken for granted upon going into this one, mainly that the biblical rapture actually happened. While this is explained in the opening, I think it would have done this movie a favor if we saw how the rapture went down. I get it, that kind of worldwide phenomena would be expensive to show, but I think the filmmakers would have done the audience a favor to show their version of it in some way. They represent a prophecy of a woman caring for a demonic child as a chalk drawing on the wall of the church, so an artistic rendering of this biblical event would have been possible, cheap to make, and a unique way to bring the viewers up to date. Instead, it's described in a written-out preamble at the beginning. That's a minor gripe about a relatively awesome movie, as that really is just set up to a movie-long cat-and-mouse chase sequence. With everyone bowing silence, there's no exposition to be doled out, and other than a Frenchman who is quickly offed, there's hardly any dialogue at all in AZRAEL. This makes it a more raw and rugged film, relying on action rather than words. Katz was responsible for the dialogue-heavy Cheap Thrills, so seeing him direct a balls-out action horror film with no dialogue shows the filmmaker's creative range, and while one might think a screenplay without dialogue would be an easy feat, Your Next writer Simon Barrett keeps this interesting with twists, turns, and all sorts of obstacles in Weaving's path to make this story an unpredictable one. Weaving, as usual, is breathtaking, even covered in mud and soot. Since there is no dialogue, it would be hard for most to really get you to empathize for the character. But because of her giant blue eyes, she expresses a myriad of emotions through blinks, squints, and wide-eyed expressions of terror. She's put through a gauntlet of horrors, and it's refreshing to see an actress of Weaving's caliber return to the horror genre over and over again. While the ending is kind of predictable, the trip there isn't. Anyone who has seen films whose plot hinges on a prophecy knows it's going to come about one way or another in the end, and this one, of course, does just that. But it's the unique peril Weaving is placed into, and the especially gnarly demons, all soot-covered, staggering, and tumorous, that really makes you root for Weaving to get out of this alive. AZRAEL may have had a bare-bones script with no dialogue, but in the end, it used this factor as a benefit to make a grungy, down-in-the-muck survival nightmare. I highly recommend this one. As always, feel free to agree, disagree, or how about you play along at home and give me your own picks for your own favorite movies of the year. It's October, so let's talk horror. Come back tomorrow for the next level in the Best in Horror Countdown. Be sure to hit all of those pertinent bells and whistles down below, and you'll never miss a post. Happy Halloween, folks.